So I ride a motorcycle. It's not a motorcycle built for riding on pavement. It's a motorcycle built for the trails. I love it. It's a lot of fun. But there's a term in the motorcycling community that has to do with the importance of choosing the right path. Now, I go on old logging roads, which can be rutted and worn out, demolished by snow melt causing creeks on the trail. They're always in rough shape. A lot of these things, they're not maintained at all. And when you're on a motorcycle, you can easily wipe out. You can fall, and believe me, that hurts. So the term is picking your line and committing to it. So you look ahead of yourself. You don't look down at your feet. You don't look down at 5 feet in front of you. You need to look, 20 or 30 or 50 feet ahead, and decide which route you're going to take. Because invariably there are different routes. There are different little paths which may only be a foot apart from each other. But you got to pick the one you're going to take and try to stick to it, because you don't have the option of crossing a rut to get to another one that you would later like to take. Because if you cross that rut, you might drop your bike. And as I mentioned a second ago, that can hurt. Painting is nothing like motorcycling. A really stupid segue, I suppose, on my part. But I was reminded of it before I started doing this. I thought, I'm going to say something silly. I'm going to pick my lines. See all these potential lines, these potential routes that I could take? I've drawn in charcoal down here and here. My first strokes with charcoal were what I thought would work quite well. They were what I wanted, and then each one gets refined a little bit, changed a little bit, and eventually you end up with messes like this, and here. What is the shape of that tree? Well, now I have a lot of options that I've actually laid down in front of myself to pick from. That's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to pick my line. I'm going to choose my line. I'm not going to break my leg or my back or anything too nasty. This is much safer than going out on a motorbike, but it's kind of important that you look ahead a little bit, and you can decide. You don't just go willy-nilly into something and scribble things. No, you put thought into it, and you're going to be wrong a lot of the time. Well, okay, I don't have the right to tell you that. I'm going to be wrong a lot of the time, and when I'm wrong, that's fine. I'll put a few more chicken scratches on there, and hopefully the next time I'll get it right. And then once I'm pretty confident that my charcoal sketch is right, then I'm willing to mix up some dark paint. In this case, again, that's what I usually use, ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. Then I'll hop in there and again try to improve what I just did. Ignoring some lines, following some lines, improving some lines, and creating new lines. And that's really what it's all about for me as I build these paintings. Okay, I like this tree. I'm going to stay pretty close to what I've got there. I like these short, squat, muscular trees. Well, not all the time, I guess, maybe, but Boy, I do enjoy them. I love. They just seem to me to have put up with a lot of baloney in their life, so they become quite powerfully built. You know, I like the look of them. Simple, keeping it simple. I'm not putting any details in there. The stain that I put on the canvas is still kind of wet, so well, I sure can't wipe anything off because it's already part of the it's already gone through the stain, mixed with the stain, and adhered to the canvas. Now, when I actually do the painting, I can change them a little bit, but less and less as I go on. But all in all, these shapes I think are pretty good. Yeah, I could certainly put treetops that are in the distance behind this and this and this and this. I'm not going to. This painting is going to be is going to have some strength and vitality to it. I'm not going to allow the viewer's eye to be attracted by something in the distance back here. I'm going to reserve that for the sky around here. Originally I thought this might be sort of a prairie painting. I've departed from that thinking, and I'm going to go back into more sort of West Coast-ish painting, like Pacific Northwest type of painting. I just love that painting, that kind of painting. So, uh, you know, a composition that I often use is, and I'm a right-handed guy, but I often bring in my land masses. Not always, but often bring my land masses in from the left and then taper them off into the distance on the right. If it's a really large painting, I might bring something stronger on the right as well, but not usually. It's just a personal preference. It's, you know, don't listen to me. Follow your own gut that way. I like these trees to be in a little bit of turmoil. You know, you can. I'm not even saying this is a windy painting or there's a lot of wind in this painting. It's really more that these trees, because they're on an exposed outcropping, they will grow a certain way if they have to put up with enough abuse from nature. Yeah, it's not abuse. It's just life. But if their life, you know, if they have to struggle a lot with the wind always in a certain direction, yeah, they're going to acquiesce to that wind. They're going to make it easy on themselves, and that's what gives them their very interesting design. Here, let's make this one very broad, very staunch on the bottom. We'll keep it wide. You know, these trees, they when they live on rock like this, they need to spread out at the base. They need to have their roots poking into any possible crevice that contains a little bit of soil. Let's have a branch sticking out there. Just one for the time being. I'm going to go dark right away on that. I'm leaving myself notes. I don't expect you to know exactly what I'm doing here, but I'm kind of leaving myself some notes in my own way right now. I'm not going to wash in the dark colors. I'm mostly just concerned with outlining at the moment. Okay, so we're going to do that and that and that. We're going to have a little bit of a horizon here. Some distant trees conscripted to serve from a couple of miles away. You know, it's going to be pretty nondescript when we paint it. I'm still planning to use a knife, by the way. Whether that, comes true or not, I suppose we'll see. Okay. Let's put some scratches in here. I don't even know. If I'm doing myself a favor right now by doing this. Probably not. Probably not. Because I don't have a clear notion of what I want here. I'm just murmuring in the dark. And that doesn't really help anything in the long run. Here again, a whole bunch of lines. I need to organize this just like I organize my thoughts before I get into things like this, because I will end up with a mess if I don't. You know, we have this crevice here. I don't want to line it up with another one below it, so we'll just stagger it a little bit. Let's come up there. I don't want to have just a perfect cradle, you know? I really don't want that. So we'll start by breaking up that line there. No harm having a few smaller shapes. No harm having a few smaller shapes here and there. Here, let's just run it off for the time being. I'm not sure I'm happy with this, so we'll just stay below it. Boy, this could stand to be dropped a little bit. You know, yeah. You look at it now, and this is a disorganized. It's a mess. It looks silly. Fine, let it look silly. Like somebody at a party, if they want to look silly, let them look silly. I've certainly been guilty of that. Okay, that brings it down to oppose this a little bit. I don't know if it's the right thing to do just yet. Again, I don't have to worry about it. We'll see. We'll see if that pans out. See, I have, a rock further away, a little closer, a little closer, a little closer. I don't know if I want to do that the same exactly on the shore, because it might become a bit mundane, a little bit monotonous. So in this case, what we're having is a rock that is actually the closest bedrock, and then a rock that's further away and a little closer and a little closer. So is it, is it the right thing to do? I have a good feeling about it. I'm just going with my gut. Yeah, if you paint on purely intuition, you're gonna fail. But sometimes there's something to be said for it. You gotta make a good plan to start with, though. It's oil paint. It's not just something you can erase. Yeah, you can keep painting over it, but why do all that work? Why set yourself up for failure? Okay, that's. I'm not going to do this and this and this. No. This is all going to be pretty dark down here, so maybe what I should be doing is actually maybe I should be even going lower. But see, I'm putting a few lines here. They're just options for later. For later. We'll see. But this isn't the most important. You know what's, strangely enough, what's going to ultimately dictate what happens down here at the bottom will have a great deal to do with what I do in the sky. And although I'd mentioned I was interested in doing a bit of a possibly prairie scene earlier, and I've deviated from that, I would like to have a pretty kind of interesting sky in here. So there's going to be this is the focal area in here. The sky's going to be very powerful. These rocks will be pretty strong. The water will be so strong. These rocks will be strong, but only in the sense that they're a lot darker than the rest of the painting. Not that the actual composition of these rocks is going to be as important as much of the rest of the painting will be. But we will see. We will see. Let me just give my brush a wipe here. Let me stand up and back up a little bit. There are no lines in the sky. I don't need them. I don't want them for the time being. I just wanted to scratch in a very basic sketch. We'll see where it goes. I'll square off the camera briefly. There, better angle, just so you can see what's going on. Yeah, water and rocks. I just love water and, well, bedrock, I guess. But as you can see, those are just gestural ideas. They're lines. They're becoming forms. They will develop into forms very soon. It's not there yet, but it's coming. See you soon, guys.